Hi again, Stampin' Friends. I hope you've enjoyed the little post. And what I'm going to do now is make a different card than the others that you've seen. I wanted to tell you a few things, kind of some housekeeping along as well, especially for club members. Stampin' Up! Has rules that I am not allowed to stamp images for you and give them to you. And I can kind of understand that because they have a need to protect their product. And if I could just stamp them for anyone, why would you buy the things and why would you come to class? So I understand them doing that normally, but like right now, when we can't really get together as we normally would, I'm not sure how they're going to do that. So I'm thinking that one of my friends is going to come and stamp for you because I am not able to do that, which is strange, I know. Anyway, I wanted to mention that. And then I wanted to mention also that, you know, when you don't want to seal, if you don't want to, you want to send someone a card, but you don't want to lick the envelope, you can surely just use some water in your aquapainter, possibly an old one, because I'm guessing that the glue will maybe kind of mess up your aquapainter, so you might want to use kind of an older one if you have them. If you've been stamping along as I have, you will have old ones. Use that maybe, or you could use, if you don't have one, you could use a wet paper towel. So don't miss out on sending cards just because of this. And then I hope you weren't offended by the social distancing kind of jokes. I just thought it was kind of funny. The other thing I wanted to show you is a couple of things. Hi, Lisa. A couple of things. Oh, I missed someone. Someone else is watching. I'm sorry. About this stamp set that I'm using, which is Welcome Easter. It doesn't have a set of dies with it, which can be kind of frustrating sometimes. But, you know, in the first card that I posted on the page, I cut it out with a circle. So I wanted to show you also a couple things about this. I stamped it in, I'll try to get it close enough that you can see. I stamped it in the Memento ink, which is what we normally do. But I think there's some smearing. I don't know if you can see it. Some smearing here between where the black Memento has smeared and almost looked like I colored in between his legs there with blue. Why would I do that? So what I wanted to show you is what I used was Stays On, and then it didn't do that nearly as bad. So what I was doing was coloring with our white Stampin' Chalk marker. Fun. And so I just went over it, and I kind of did it in little swirlies. You know, if you went in straight lines, you would end up, hi Leslie, you would end up with kind of a, maybe not as cute of a look. So you want to kind of go in circles. And then after you finish, like you can see there where I got on the black of the Stays On. So you might want to go back in with a black marker when you're finished and go over the lines. And let's see if you can see that. I'll color over one and then I'll show you one that I fixed. So let's see, maybe right there on the bow. It makes it cloudy when you color over it. Gosh, I'm bad at this, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can see it there. And so then when you just use the fine end and color over it with the marker, that makes it black again, basically. So another thing I did on this was I colored under the blue for his little bow tie around his neck. I colored it white first, and then I went over that. I gave it a minute to dry. You don't want to get carried away, but I gave it a minute to dry, and then I went back over it with just a regular marker. Because in this we're using Stays On, so I didn't want to go over with a blend because that might have smeared it. So that's what I did on this little card, and kind of made it, well, and then you could spend half a day on this, just making it a little bit darker, a little bit whiter, brighter. But that's how I did that. And then I used a whole bunch of the Subtles paper pack. Let me tell you what it's. It's this pack of paper that has the subtle 6x6 in the big catalog. I used a bunch of them on this one. And I used, this is the Soft Sky, the So Saffron, and the Petal Pink. And then, of course, our little friend, the sheep, is Petal Pink. And so I would just do this. And put it right on there. And then to get this, I always leave this just a little bit longer when I'm going to layer a piece on another piece. I always leave it a little longer because a little longer looks better than a little too short. So that's how I do that. Let's see here. One more little cut. There we go. So then put that on here. Oh, and I forgot one of the most important things I was going to show you when I had that black marker out. One thing I like about these ginghams, you can, the other side is cute too. It's got like an argyle, but the ginghams make it really easy to line up both your cutting and your placement of your papers on top of each other because it's very simple. Okay, then I'm going to put this on here like this. And try to get it how I like it, even as possible. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, then I shouldn't have stuck that down because I wanted to show you that it kind of becomes a lot of gingham. So I wondered if a stripe would look good on my little, wait, this isn't him. There we go. With this, or if the dots would look good. And then I also considered putting both. I thought that might add even more fun to it. So I'm gonna put him on dimensionals. There we go. And there we are. And then also you can consider whether you prefer all of the gingham to go one way. I kind of like to put the gingham off kilter like that on one of them just to kind of give it a little bit of difference there, make it look a little unusual. So 1, 2, 3, and there we go. I also wanted to tell you on the outside of him, the best way to make it look neat if your cuts aren't, let's see, I don't know if I can, oh, there's one. Right here, woohoo, there we are. Right here, there is a little bit where I've not cut very well. You can use a marker and just cover that up pretty easily. And that makes it not as noticeable that you had an issue with your cutting. For the ones that don't have a die. You know, of course, dies are easier, but. So then, I just stick that on here. Like that. And then I have a wonderful Easter. Now how I cut this out, the Sending You Thoughts and the Sending You Flowers. The Sending You Thoughts is the stamp set and the Sending You Flowers is this die. So I used this piece from the Sending You Flowers because the Happy Easter or the Have a Wonderful Easter is a very long sentiment. And it's great to have this in your stamp arsenal because it's good for some long, thin dies. So I think I will put some dimensionals under this as well. And then get rid of that. I use the minis on this one. You really probably don't need to. It's plenty big, but sometimes I just kind of like to have some, make it a little easier to put them on there. Okay, then I've decided I'm going to put a little bit of this. And cut, and a little bit of this, and cut. Oh, another thing I wanted to tell you, well, I'll wait. I'll wait just a second. So I'm just going to pick this up, and on this side, that's one thing about snail. You can usually, some things people use on their stamping, it's hard to get it back up. But snail, you can almost always pick it back up as long as it's not been too terrible long since you've made it. You know, if you made the card a week ago, you're not going to be able to pick it back up. But usually on a fairly recently stuck thing, you can pick it up and and do some work on it. I'm going to put a little more under because I didn't have it very close to the edge. Oops, I better back that up. So squish it back. Okay. Then, oops, I don't have that straight. There we go. And then mash it down so it'll stay. So I think that's kind of cutesy. And then maybe you would put some pearls up here in the corner, or either corner really. I mean, it could be cute lots of ways. But that would then replicate the little circles of the white tulle ribbon, white polka dot tulle. And then, once you're finished, I wanted to show you how I colored these on the color challenge card that I uploaded a couple minutes ago. I colored them, normally you would color with the dark of the color you're using, which is petal pink. But it really isn't very dark. And so I used the light Calypso Coral to color these. And I think that makes them show up a little more. You could also just use your pearls in white, and that would also be cute since we've got white here. So, and then on this one, I just put the Happy Easter inside. So then, have you noticed a trend? One thing that you can do when you are trying to make a lot of cards in a short time, or you need to make a lot of cards for, like for me now, you know, I have several downline, you know, like 11, and several customers, and sometimes you want to make them Easter cards, or you want to make them a particular holiday card. One thing you can do that will ease the boredom, as we all have, of making the same card is to change it up a little bit like I did on this one, where, you know, this is basically all the same card, but it's using different pattern designer series papers and different stamp sets, and they all, though, are cut out with these same circle dies and the layering circles and then the stitched shapes. And what that helps you do is save time, because you have the same dies out all the time and you're ready to just cut these as you stamp them. So I hope that has helped you all in your stamping at some little bit. I wanted to also suggest, I don't know if Kay is on here or not, but Kay, you haven't liked the page, so that might make it harder for you to find things again. So that was my only suggestion, and I hope that you all had fun today and watching. There will be one more Tiny Live video, and all it will be is me drawing the winner. So if you have not posted your number on the bingo post at the very first, I guess I could let you see me, couldn't I? I'm not really saying anything. If you've not posted your number on the bingo post, hey Kay, good, glad to see you. Yes, be sure and it keeps telling me that you haven't liked the page and asking me to invite you to like the page. It's like, okay, give her a chance, come on. If you haven't put your number on there, be sure and do that before I draw, which is in just a few minutes. I'm going to turn this off and then go in there to the computer so I can show you the little number generator roulette wheel showing me how you who is the winner. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.